How can the maintenance mode problem be solved? How do you achieve the right outcomes if the traditional solutions for maintenance mode just don't work? And what are the guardrails that are needed? What trade-offs are necessary to make a more radical solution work out? Hello, and welcome to the channel. If you haven't yet subscribed, you should do so now. That way you can stay up to date with all of the cool stuff that's happening here. I'm Steve Smith. I'm Cornish, and I'm the Global Head for Modernization and Platforms at Equal Experts. I'll be your host for today. I'm afraid Dave Farley isn't available. He's lost a bet to me, again, so he's 2 villages over in the countryside, building me a recording studio on top of a butcher's shop. Maintenance mode is when demand for live services declines from high to low and onto zero. It's when the rate of maintenance tasks, defect fixes, security vulnerabilities, platform upgrades, the other one, overtakes the rate of value-adding changes that your product managers really care about. Maintenance work might also be known as BAU or keeping the lights on or support in your organization. In my previous video, I explained why the 2 traditional maintenance mode solutions just don't work. Whether your operations team is doing all of the maintain and run work for everybody, or whether your delivery teams are maintaining live services in the background while working on new services in the foreground, you won't achieve all of the outcomes you're looking for. You won't be able to increase capacity, reduce costs, protect services reliability, protect future feature delivery, and protect job satisfaction. Now it's time to talk about a different solution that can achieve all of those maintenance mode outcomes if the right guardrails are in place. You can call it multi-service teams. At Equal Experts, we've arrived at this model after many years of speaking with enterprise organizations about the outcomes they're looking for in maintenance mode and all of the problems they've experienced with those traditional solutions. Here's the same made-up retailer example from my previous video. It's based on a company that is absolutely not a retailer. We have many teams, many services in 2 different product verticals. All of these teams are doing you build it, you run it, because that's a crucial part of how you achieve the technology outcomes in Dr. Nicole Forsgren's Accelerate book, and of course in Dave's modern software engineering work. When non-differentiating services become low demand, they transition into a delivery team that is dedicated to maintain and run for all low demand services in that sole product vertical. Why does this solution work well? Well, handing over low demand services means that delivery teams can be reassigned to new propositions or resized. So capacity can be increased and costs can be reduced as you wish. There's optionality there, which people really appreciate once they've experienced it. Live service reliability can be protected because the multi-service teams have all the necessary technical skills, domain knowledge, operational incentives, and intrinsic motivation to protect service level objectives. And their cognitive load is much more limited than an operations team because they are only maintaining and running live services in a single product domain. Future feature delivery is also protected if a low demand service is owned by a multi-service team. When someone somewhere locates funding for a low demand service to have new work pumped into it, it can be transitioned out of a multi-service team back into a delivery team in a much smoother process because there's a shared culture of the same practices and same domain knowledge. And job satisfaction can be protected in this solution as well because the multi-service teams are outcome oriented and empowered to make changes. There is a catch here, but it's also true of every maintenance mode solution really. Senior developers don't want to do maintenance work, often for reasons of professional identity in my experience, which I understand. That's why with enterprise organizations, I recommend that they put junior developers or junior engineers from their suppliers into these multi-service teams so that those engineers can get an early experience in their career of what real responsibility looks like and how they can understand the business as a whole, what live traffic really feels like.
I'd like to pause there and say thank you to our sponsors. We're extremely fortunate to be sponsored by Equal Experts, Transfig, and Octopus Deploy. Octopus makes it easy to deliver software to Kubernetes, multi-cloud, on-prem infrastructure, and anywhere else. They automate release, deployment, and operations of your software and AI workloads with a tool that can handle continuous delivery at scale. All of these companies, though, offer products and services that are extremely well aligned with the topics and philosophy of software development that we discuss on this channel every week. So if you're looking for excellence in continuous delivery and software engineering, do click on the links in the description below to check them out.
You do need guardrails for this maintenance mode solution. People will wrongly perceive it to be a one-way dumping ground because they're so used to the traditional solutions that really do create one-way dumping grounds. There are 3 guardrails that I'd strongly recommend for multi-service teams. First, you need to have a clear definition of what low demand or zero demand is in your organization's context. As a starting point to get off a blank canvas, I would propose it's any non-differentiating service that has at least 3 months of live traffic with a deploy frequency that's gradually slowing down, and the percentage of value-adding changes per deploy is also slowing down. You might need a different definition for your organization, but that's a starting point. The second guardrail I'd look for is to give your multi-service teams a really clear identity and purpose. Give a multi-service team the same name as its product vertical to emphasize the team mission on outcomes over outputs. So in our earlier example, there was a customer services vertical with teams building and running live services like order orchestration or payments or checkout, and there was a multi-service team as well. I would call that team the customer services team to be clear that they are accountable for the maintain and run of all low demand services in that vertical. Naming teams after missions is the hill I will happily die on all day, every day. One day I'd like to do a video just on team names, but I think it would just be too much shouting. And the third guardrail I'd look for is to document the service transfer criteria between teams. Ensure the same criteria exist for transferring a live service between 2 delivery teams, from a delivery team into a multi-service team, or from a multi-service team back into a delivery team. This is all made possible by having great platform engineering, which is so true of a lot of modern software engineering at scale. When you think about outcomes first, solutions second, you can see why this multi-service teams model is so much more compelling than the traditional solutions. Maintenance mode is maturity. It's inevitable. Stop fighting it and start getting ready for it. Next time I'm here, I'll talk about how GenAI tools like Cursor and Claude Code can accelerate maintenance tasks in the right circumstances. But Dave has to finish building that recording studio for me first. If it doesn't have an extra tall green screen and hogs pudding on demand, I'm not signing that lease. Thanks for watching.